And I'm really excited to have the chance to discuss with you this morning some behavior change interventions intended to bridge the gap between intentions and behavior. These are based on principles of alligator psychology. But I'm not sure if you know what I mean when I say the intention-behavior gap. Please raise your hand if you've ever made a New Year's resolution. Okay, so you know what I mean. I'm going to start with a tale of two healthy eating, more veggie campaigns. One successful, one not so successful. And then I'll share with you some reasons why one might have been more successful than the other. A lot of the work that I do in this domain is on helping people make healthy food choices. So a lot of this will be on food choices, but 100% is applicable to connected health. The first campaign is the USDA 5-a-day campaign. All of us remember it. We all lived through it. This was a $50 million ad spend every year starting in 1991. And advertisements were carpet bombed all over. Television, schools, everywhere. Eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day, eat 5 fruits and vegetables a day. And it was very successful in building awareness. From 1991, when only 8% of people knew they should be eating 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, to 1995, this quadrupled awareness. However, during the same time period, behavior change was exactly 0. Think about what you could have done with $50 million a year to help people be healthier, right? Here's a different one. This was a bootstrapped veggie campaign that some colleagues and I at Yale and our collaborators ran in a field study at Google. What we decided is we wanted to help people, we wanted to encourage people to sample really awful vegetables, because the way to get people to like the foods that they don't like is to have them try it repeatedly. So we asked people, what veggies do you hate? What's your least favorite vegetable? This is how they came out, and I totally agree with parsnips. I think parsnips are really, really, really awful. And maybe your hated veggie is there too. Over 12 weeks in 2 different cafes, we served a dish that was from one of these 5 vegetables as the main ingredient. We measured baseline consumption in the first 6 weeks, and then in one of the cafes, we advertised where the food was and where you come in with these bright, colorful, big posters, veggie of the day, beautiful pictures, and a weird little fact that had nothing to do with health or taste, like, did you know the world's biggest beet, grown in 2005 by Dutchman Piet de Goede, weighed more than 156 pounds? Did you know that? Does it matter? No. But yet, it increased consumption of these vegetables that a lot of people hate by 64%. And if you included the seasonal decline, which we measured in the other cafe, the increase was 125%. I'm not trying to say that all of these people went away and loved these vegetables and started eating a ton more of them. I don't know. But it's a pretty good guess that they ate at least a little bit more of them. And this is a successful behavior change intervention. And my claim is going to be that it's because of alligator psychology. We also talked about just making it easier, reducing friction. And I know a lot of you are doing this already with the apps that you're developing and the systems and the devices, and I applaud you. I'm not pretending that this is rocket science. I'm just saying let's all do more of it. The alligators are here because they're a great symbol for how important it is to make things easy, because alligators are so freaking lazy. This is a picture from Gatorland in Orlando. Some of you may have been. I was really excited that they let you feed meat to the alligators. And you can buy a hot dog, and you can take off a little chunk, and you can throw it into this pile of prehistoric monsters. And I was so excited for them to clamor and fight each other for the chunks of meat. But actually what happens is if the meat doesn't land within a couple of inches of their mouth, they just sit there until a bird comes down and takes the hot dog. Partly because they're well fed, but because alligators are so lazy. Alligators are not the only ones who are lazy, though. We are so driven by laziness, not because we're terrible people, but we are so busy, right? If you think about some of the companies that have totally disrupted entire industries and really are driving industries out of business just about. There's Amazon, there's Uber, there's Tinder, and all of these have done a phenomenal job of making it incredibly easy for their customers to do business with them and reducing the friction. Amazon, you can just sit in your house and poof, you push a button and anything arrives, right? It's incredible. Uber, you don't even know how much it costs when you take an Uber, so it's certainly not about price, but you can get a ride from anywhere to anywhere. They make it so easy, you don't even have to tip, right? And Uber is not only putting cab companies out of business, but even competing with car companies, because we don't need to have a car, because Uber is even easier for many of us than owning a car. And Tinder, with the swipey thing, has made it easier than ever to connect with somebody to go out on a date. Although maybe it could be even easier. If you're really, really, really lazy, and also not picky. Domino's understands how important it is to make it easy for their customers to do business with them. And their 2015 Anywhere campaign said, we want all of our customers to be able to order a pizza through any method they want, short of smoke signals, and the pizza will arrive at their house. So they can tweet an order to us, and you can just tweet a little pizza symbol. You can text a little pizza symbol, and your favorite order arrives. You can call them on the phone, you can use your Apple Watch, and if you have certain kinds of Fords, you can order pizza from your car with the push of a button. This campaign led to a 12% increase in sales for Domino's that year, while Pizza Hut dropped by 2%. Just reducing friction, making it easy. In another study that I ran at Google, we looked at how much did it matter, or did it matter, if the snacks were just a little closer or a little farther from the coffee machine. So simple, right? This is in one break room, same place. We just had undercover spies hanging out and pretending to text while they were observing each person that came into the break room who got some coffee or a drink, and did they get a snack? What we found was the people who just happened to be coming from, and people just went to the beverage station that was closer to the door that they came in, and those who were coming in from the door on the left ended up getting way more snacks with their coffee than people coming in from the door on the right where the beverage station was farther. And for men, it was a bigger increase, which was 40%, which is equivalent to gaining potentially 3 pounds a year of fat. It's not nothing. Whenever possible, let's combine attention and ease. Here's a study where I was trying to look at the effects of attention and also ease. This is another field study that I ran at Google. So I have a framework for behavior change using behavioral economics, and Google has adopted it for their food policy, feeding 60,000 people around the world. And it's really cool, they let me run experiments. So Google said, and Googlers are pained by the fact that they have all this amazing free food everywhere. It's a cornucopia, and they call it the Noogler. So Google employees call themselves Googlers, and the new ones are called Nooglers. And like the freshman 15 in college, there's the Noogler 15 at Google because there's so much great food. And the most popular snack by far are M&Ms, and Googlers eat millions of pounds of M&Ms. And the food team believed, and me too, that people are probably eating M&Ms mindlessly and not necessarily making a careful decision, but just grabbing a bunch of the M&Ms from this bulk bin, scooping them into a cup. And they don't realize how much they're eating, partly because the label says serving size 1.74 ounces. Like, what does that mean, for Christ's sake? Who knows, right? So here are the labels that we created, and we also did an intervention with portion size. The numeric serving label, we tried to make it make sense, right? Peanut M&Ms, 8 pieces. That's a serving. Do what you want, but that's a serving. There's also a visual serving size label where we showed in the little cup that they're scooping the M&Ms into how high would this go if you had 1 serving of peanut M&Ms. And in the portion condition, we used fun packs like Halloween candies. My Yale collaborator and I had different hypotheses about what was going to happen here. And what happened was, numeric label, no effect. Visual, also no effect. When we had surveyed people, they thought this was going to be the most effective. However, the portions did have a big effect in the right direction. A lot of people, including my collaborator, had thought that's actually going to increase consumption because you can just grab a big pile of the packs and put them in your purse and take them home with you. But what happened is that they just did whatever was the easiest thing. They got a whole cup of M&Ms, or one whole pack, mindlessly, not thinking about it and not paying attention. So we can't, I'm telling this as a cautionary tale, this is my failed experiment, although part of it worked, because we can never assume that we have somebody's attention.